Hey, YouTube. They said it was a rambling word. They say it was a rambling word. They say it was a rambling word for me. One day when I was lost, I just heard that girl over there. What's her name? I forget the girl's name. Anyway, she was just singing that song. Hey, people. Hey, people. Hey, Princess A. He's always number one. You must actually get the notifications. Jody Brown, B. Henson. Are y'all cities preparing for tonight's carnage or tonight's chaos? It's sad. That's what I was looking at just now. I was watching this guy. There's a guy named Jermaine Ellis. He's covering San Francisco, a YouTuber who's been covering San Francisco. Last night I was seeing after these people had looted all the stores down there. He picked up a box of shoes on the street, right? The box of shoes contained a pair of men's dress shoes with red bottoms. I said, oh my God, these shoes are laying in the street. They're in a box. They've got to be $1,200. These are fancy shoes. I didn't know men had red bottoms. Shows you how in touch I am. Oh, that's not true. I remember Andrew had some red bottoms on. Anyway, it looks like the city is preparing for tonight's chaos in most cities. I see them. What's this? Washington, D.C. is also getting. That's really probably should be the main vein. Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, but pretty much every city. Los Angeles is going insane. I used to live near that place on Melrose where they're talking about. That is a high-end area. They done smashed all the windows out, stole all the shoes and all this stuff. This thing is costing the country billions of dollars. I just hope that they're not destroying family-owned businesses, people who are actually not going to be recovered from this thing, because I'm sure they were barely holding on by a thread by being closed for 3 months. Something like this could wipe out a lot of businesses, right? So it's completely out of control now. I don't think people are even in touch with what they're asking. I mean, the original ask was that all three cops that were involved in the George incident, they were asking that they all be arrested, right, and charged with crimes. And now it seems like they're not even asking anymore. They're just angry. People are angry all over the country. Oh. Washington, D.C., we're all sitting up just waiting for the activity like a TV show. It's horrible. These people are not being protected. I mean, just a few days ago, we were all talking about how you couldn't even go out. You can only go out to the store. You got to have a mask and gloves on and go into the store one at a time and all that. Does that look like that? What in the hell? It seems like a lot of people are attempting to keep their mask on, but you can only keep them on for so long. You know, they take them off for a breather. That's all it takes. So I don't know what, I mean, there's certainly nothing I can add to this story. We're all experiencing the same thing. It's a nationwide riot. Nationwide. Then we have no leadership at all, not at the very top. I mean, it would be nice to have someone like Obama in office. Somebody could try to give us peace, some kind of plan. You know, but we don't have leadership there. This Trump, you know what his attitude is. You loot, we're going to shoot, we're going to kill you. If you steal a pair of pants, you're dead. So people wonder, why would we put this dude in office? So what difference does it make? What difference does it make who's in office? Yes, it makes a difference. This guy's incompetent, honey. But what happens when you have national disasters? One on top of another. We had all this activity going on. The president is absolutely useless. Every time he says something, it's something negative, something that makes things worse. Charleston City, North Carolina. Uh-oh, they tore some places up. Yeah, I see. I know a lot of these businesses are happy that because San Francisco was basically boarded up anyway. They had boarded up for Corona. So I don't know if they were anticipating that when people got hungry enough, angry enough, frustrated enough, they were going to smash through the windows. But most of the stores here downtown were already boarded up. I just saw now. There's a guy, Jermaine Ellis. He's showing in San Francisco. They're showing downtown jewelry stores, the windows all knocked out, all the display cases empty. I would hope they wouldn't have their fine jewelry in there overnight, but who knows when the thing hit. So clothing stores, they even broke into a poor old Marshalls. Some of these people don't give it. They don't even know who George Floyd is. I mean, you kick off something like that. First, you get a spark, then you get a flame, then the whole damn house is on fire. So right now, the whole country is on fire. And as the sun goes down, that's when the freaks come out. You know what my fear is now? And maybe this is irrational, but now each side of this government, they're talking about, they're blaming the other side. They're saying, oh, it's this Antifa and these extreme Democrats, and the other ones are saying, no, that is these racists are infiltrating. I'm hoping that in the midst of all of this, with all these races are all together out there like that, they don't turn this into a race thing, because that would be catastrophe, because they're all out there in the street at the same time. Can you imagine the carnage that could happen if those people turned on each other? And with these politicians trying to blame each other's side, are they both out there? Are there supremacists in those crowds as well, looking for trouble, starting to fight? And then what complicates matters even more is they all got these damn masks on, so you don't know who your friends are. You could be standing right next to a racist, and all he wants you to do is run out in the street and get run back car. We don't know. So I'm hoping it doesn't turn to that. It didn't start out like that. It started out, everyone had the same purpose. Justice for this guy, George Floyd. And then all these cops would be arrested and charged. Now it's completely out of control. You can't control riots. They're going to do it till they get tired of doing it. Hi, guys. Let me say hello to people. Here's in Charlotte, Carolina. North Carolina. It seems like it's in pretty much every city now. And then you're mixing up with all kind of people. You think there are no gangbangers and dangerous people in those crowds as well? Place like Chicago, where they have all these murders and people shooting each other all the time. You think they're not going to be outbursts? Chicago is going crazy. That's not a place we want to go crazy. LA, no better. LA is known for riots. They can go on forever, honey. So I was looking at them red bottom shoes. I said, well, it's probably $1,200 just out in the street. You shouldn't be worried about people like that. People with these big high-end stores, they can afford to take a loss, and they're insured and all that. But think about some of these businesses, though, that won't be able to survive this. That's horrible. To go in there and take people's stuff. They worked hard for that. Small businesses. The people work hard to build those things. And what do? They're black as well. So maybe there'll be some kind of stimulus package for them, but in the government about over stimulus, how many trillion are they in the hole already? This is the last thing we needed to happen at the end of this Corona thing. I mean, it was just barely. Was it even a week where people are starting to open up again? Now they got to board it back down. I'm sure all these businesses have spent all day boarding up their businesses. What the hell is that? Oh, Jesus Christ. Minneapolis. It ain't the first time we've had this. We've had this about every year, every other year. But this seems like the worst it's ever gotten. Whereas nationwide. Yes, what happened to all the masks and stuff? They pulling them off, pulling them on. You look at this crowd right here. You see these cops, look, their masks are down. See these cops, look at the cops. Their masks are down. They're not 6 feet apart, right? They're speaking right into each other. They're yelling to go over the noise of the crowds. What happens when you yell? The spittle, that's how it passes, right? Imagine when these crowds are tight, they're touching each other and they're spitting right into each other's mouths. Concord? Well, Concord, you mean Concord in LA? LA has got so many hot spots. I mean, they decimated Melrose Street. That's one of the a main street that runs through West Hollywood, between West LA and it goes right through West Hollywood. So you follow Melrose, the next stop would be Beverly Hills. Lord have mercy. And people are just out for looting. Of course, they're going to migrate to that section. Some people just kind of come up. They grabbing TVs and shit, can't even drag them down the street. They need to take that tweaker. They need to take Twitter away from Trump. He wants to sue him because they had the nerve to balk at one of his stupid ass tweets. So he want to shut him down. So if he's acting like your enemy, why don't you just close down his account? Show them that you're not all powerful. All that you're going to do is extend the thing and make everything worse. You can't put that incompetent fool in office. It didn't make any sense. Now this whole country got all these different issues and he cannot help at all. Nobody wants to hear from Trump. The liquor store is closed until further notice or until somebody rips those boards off the windows. Of course, the people who are out there getting high and drunk, they want to hit the liquor store. So because you put a board in the window, that don't mean that much. Think these people don't got screwdrivers, crowbars? I don't remember how long the other riots went. I mean, the 60s, we had riots all through the 60s, right? But I don't know how long the more recent riots lasted. Or was it a week, 2 weeks, a month? This will be a week tomorrow when this incident happened with George Floyd. You're right, Monique. I agree with you, Monique Coleman. I believe some people are out protesting throughout the U.S. because many are not working and are fed up with staying home. That's right. That definitely contributes to it. They've been locked up for 3 months. Now they ain't got no job. They ain't got no money. That adds to the looting, you know. So they were wondering how they were going to end this quarantine, this lockdown. I guess it just didn't end well. There was a spark, and this is how it's going to blow up. Oh my God, I saw New York City last night. Yeah, it's growing. Every night there are more and more people. Because, I mean, initially it was all about Minneapolis. How long did it take? 3 days? Now everybody's involved. It really hurt me when I saw all that looting, people just taking their stuff. I mean, you know, you could be destroying families and you put them on welfare. If their business, if their livelihood is tied into that business, if that is their livelihood, I mean, they've already been out of business for three months, basically. How they come back for something like that? You done burn the building down. And when they get the insurance money, assuming that they had the amount of insurance they need, why would they build back in the same place? They can get a fresh new start. I don't know how about retail space though. How do you calculate all that stuff in there? There's probably limits to what they can get. Who's on fire now? Washington, D.C. is burning. You know, ultimately, well, who they're really mad at, the anger goes to Trump. So I wouldn't be surprised if D.C. doesn't lose control. He's one of the sick, vicious dogs on him, he said. Tough guy. They tore up Melrose. Yep. I used to live right at the corner of Melrose and La Brea. Yeah. That's a high-end area now. And and then Trump, he has all these people, all they can think about is Antifa, 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 Antifa. Do you think all this is Antifa? You blame somebody. This is how I mean he's absolutely useless in any kind of discussion about how to calm this thing. He doesn't have the ability. He's incompetent. Not that it necessarily be the president's job to do, I mean, to make things happen, but you need a voice of reason. You're supposed to be the leader of the free world. Leader. I mean, what does that mean? You go hide in the White House because they can't trust a damn thing come out your mouth? They can't trust to put you in front of a damn microphone. And then he's the type who would insist on being in front of a microphone, which is only going to make things worse. What city is this? Yeah, they're burning up Washington, D.C. It looks like. This is NBC. Let me see the other one. Yeah, it must be pretty bad in Washington because both stations, NBC, MSNBC, and CNN are both covering the same story, which would mean that it's really bad in Washington, D.C. right now. That wasn't even part of the story a couple of days ago, right? People don't go out there trying to get some free stuff. Don't do that. Don't risk your life. You'll pick up, I mean, there's clothes and shit thrown all over the place. But it ain't worth your life going out there breathing that air. Right? Exposing yourself to danger. If you people have control over your teenagers, please try to keep them at home. I know it's difficult to control young people. All right, what happened now? Broadcast cable system. Jesus Christ. I can't tell people how to react though, because I know I'm hurt. I don't care about them running any high-end brands in nationwide stores. Okay, L says, I don't care about them ruining any high-end brands or nationwide stores. Those brands will survive, and they don't care about Black people anyway. But I hate to see us burning down Black-owned businesses. Black-owned business, and they're good white people too. I mean, any business, any family business, any business that's going to be destroyed by this thing, it's wrong. You don't get anything out of it. So what, you went in there and you stole some T-shirts or some pants. You put those people out of business. Everybody works there. I know this San Francisco is a lot of Asian businesses, right? So in that instance, a lot of the whole family works in the store. So you didn't cut off a whole lot of them's income. They tend to work together in single businesses. People start rioting, they don't give a damn. A lot of those people, they don't even know who George Floyd is. They don't care. They just want to come up, get something. So that's a whole different class of people. Because why would a protester, somebody protesting something, want to grab some sweaters? Yeah, man, I hope they don't start protesting Trump. There's a lot of anger in this country tied to that man. And apparently Washington, D.C., they're burning the hell out of Washington, D.C. right now. I mean, I don't want us to be like no third world country, people overthrowing shit. There's a lot of built up anger about Trump. So I guess the people in there, somebody has to have enough sense to say that he is useless in this situation. They need to keep him quiet and locked up some damn where. Go play golf. Nordstrom. Yep, I just saw Nordstrom Because say they're going out of Nordstrom going out of business. Because they're really going out of business now. I just saw a Nordstrom store looted in LA. That's the high-end stuff you can sell. You got to realize a lot of these people have been out of work for a long time too. You know what I mean? Right. Now, yeah, I don't. It's not like only black business have to survive. Any business, any innocent people. You don't want to terrorize any business, any innocent people for your cause. They don't got nothing to do with it. Neiman Marcus is going out Nordstrom. I used to work at Neiman Marcus. Yeah, they said they were in Beverly Hills last night. Now I know they got the National Guard out in there. You know, people one chance to get them some red bottoms. I got a small key from that. Wait a minute. What are you talking about, Trinity Love? Tan J. I mean, this is just the worst thing that could happen. I mean, right? As far as Corona goes, this is the worst thing that could happen. We were all worried about two people getting too close to each other on the beach a few days ago. Now look at this. These are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people piled all on top of each other. All breathing the same air. I'm amazed as many of them are out there have the mask on, but they're like this, that close to each other, breathing, yelling, screaming out chants. And when they put that tear gas on them or that pepper spray, you're gonna take the mask off trying to grasp for air. It's natural. Rubbing their eyes, tear gas and shit all in their ears. And I see a lot of them cops, they taking their stuff down too. What else is burning? Jesus. Protests for the 6th day over the decade of Georgia Floyd. What is that building? Like, I hope they're not burning people's houses down. What is that building? I gotta.
And street signs, garbage, anything else they could to it. We're starting to see things clear out here. We heard one flashbang fired by police into the general area.
Said it was a random.
There's a whole very good intelligence division here at the NYPD.
It's New York City. See, these places with these huge numbers of people. That's what's so dangerous. I mean, if you get out of control in New York City, can you imagine? What do they got? 30 million people there during the day? 30 million people in New York? Something like that. I think there are 8 million that live there. This is stressful. You gotta remember that long before any of this stuff started, before Corona, any of that, Trump was being impeached. Before that, he was being investigated about his ties to Russia. I mean, from the very first day he got into office, he's been investigated the whole entire time. One thing after another. All of the bad decisions he's made on this coronavirus. Almost every statement, wrong. And you watch, he's going to try to turn into some race thing because that's how he won. That's what he ran on. Just get them to fight against each other. It's dangerous to put all those kind of people together, especially if they're thinking other kind of militias are involved in it as well. At some point, they're going to snap and try to turn to racial. Then what you're going to do? They're all in the street. far as I know, there's been a couple of deaths already. A lot of people hurt. A lot of people arrested. These cities don't have the capacity to hold all these people in jail, though. They're probably going to take them down to jail and give them a citation and let them go. I don't think they have the capacity. Okay, Dallas. Yeah, so Dallas is involved as well. Seems like pretty much every city. I'll get that later. They're tired and angry and they're frustrated. I mean, we've been locked up for 3 months, people. Many of these people have not worked in 3 months. They're angry. They're just angry, period. Waiting on the damn stimulus check. Spending it very carefully. The dirty cop is on suicide watch. I don't know why he wouldn't be. His wife done divorced his ass after the second day. He then calls everybody around him. He disgraced the whole damn country, his whole city. No cops want to be associated with him. I imagine he would be on suicide watch. Him dying ain't gonna solve anything. Hey, Harlow Rain. The virus numbers are going up in Texas. Are they even paying attention right now? Usually they would tell us that every few hours about what the numbers are about corona. They ain't talking about this thing and taking over to all the news programs. So I imagine it's going to be huge spike coronavirus by the time this thing is done. Huge strike. What the hell is that? Spike. Oh, we're going to start all over again? Trump is now in the underground bunker. That's where he should be. Hi, Deborah Mitchell. I knew you were a wrench. Thanks for showing up, hon. Anxiety out of control. I'm sorry, Blue Skies. Stay in the house. Remember, we were all supposed to be staying in the house now? How many thousands of people are we looking at here on the street? In every city. In poor Atlanta. Whatever. They're paying no attention at all to the fact that we're still under this crisis, this corona thing. I mean, amazed that most of them have masks on. No, maybe somebody's out there passing them out. But those people out there, they're drinking. One thing I would say about these protesters, don't be out there playing music like it's a party or something. If you're serious, if you're protesting, then protest. Don't be out there just playing rap music and dancing, getting high. But of course, people are anxious to get out there, so they're just all out there, honey. Book of Revelation. These are the last and evil days. My grandma started telling me that when I was a little baby. These are the last and evil days, baby. I think, when, Grandma, when? It's been 30 years. Oh, no, these are the last and evil days. We'll rebound. But the situation was always so horrible, already so horrible when it started. Hope we don't start fighting with the government. I mean, a lot of people are very upset. They get angry. So I do see it's a spike in violence in Washington, D.C. That ain't gonna solve that. You never get to him anyway. So they're gonna have to start this whole lockdown all over again. My God. Baltimore. First time I heard about Baltimore. Oh, I did see Baltimore in the news last night. At this point, I assume that it's all cities. What city is going to sit down while the whole country is going in, making this protest? I think it's a protest against all police brutality. This incident. I believe this is the biggest one, though. Has it ever been this bad before? I don't know. I was getting high, so I don't know exactly how bad things were with other riots. Yeah, they just said, James Boss, they said the end was coming while Jesus was still alive. He said many people who are alive right now will be there for the rapture. Something like that. All supposed to be in the house. Ain't that something? How fast it all fell apart. George Floyd, that was the spark. Now we're in the fire. Religion is man-made. God is real, though. Exactly. He's still God, honey. He's still God. We still got eyeballs and noses and mouths and all the stuff that takes to make a human being. Somebody designed that, put it together. Get your eyebrows, eyelashes to keep the dirt out your eyes. Give you a sewage system so you can get rid of all the toxins in your body. Put sex organs there for pleasure. Somebody decided upon all that stuff, the fingers and toes, where you're able to urinate. Love, where you're able to fall in love with somebody. It's all God. Yeah, I hear pops here and there. I guess a lot of that is firecrackers. But the real, oh my God. It's still showing Washington buildings burning. We got to catch up and see what's going on. It's dark in Washington now. It's still light here. Biggest problem in San Francisco is this looting thing. Seems to happen last night. But we have protests here all the time about just about everything. So people here are used for peaceful protests. But now it seems like the cities are just turning violent after dark. I think it's because they ain't got no money. They're broke. They're looking for a come up. You're in Washington, D.C., Deborah? Sorry to hear that. Is it getting real bad in Washington, D.C.? I see both stations are showing Washington. Last night it was mostly Atlanta. It could change at any moment, though. It'll shift to L.A. Right. Peaceful protesters are getting blamed for this violence. And they could turn it. If all of these different racial groups are involved in the same riots, they could turn on each other at any moment. Then all hell is broken loose. And they start showing who they really are behind those masks. The masks are complicating things even more because you don't know who the hell you don't know who's there. We're just getting to our halfway through 20, and I say this year has been the worst I've seen in my 20 years on Earth. Oh, I didn't know you were that young. You're in your late 20s. Yeah, this is bad as I don't remember it ever being this bad. I mean, I was in LA for many years, so I do remember Rodney King riots. And I remember seeing some of the other riots, other black people have been killed. But I don't remember it being national like this, unless I was just not paying attention. Protesters erupt across the U.S. following death. Okay. How you guys holding up? Y'all staying in the house? What city is that on your TV? Right now, it's Como. Let's see. They've been showing Washington for the last hour or so. Now, this is Santa Monica. They're having a big problem in Santa Monica, California. Santa Monica is part of LA County. It's its own independent city, but it's part of LA County. So LA's got flare-ups in probably about 10 different cities at the same time. Each area has their own downtown area. They looted the hell out of LA last night and the night before. Mm-hmm. Right outside DC. Protect their bunker. That Trump loves division, so we don't know how he sees this thing. As far as we know, he sees it as a good thing. He was always promoting violence in his rallies. Division. So he got in office. So we have nothing. We have no leadership come out of the White House, period. Then when they have spokesmen up there, all they talk about is Antifa. Like that's all we're looking at. How big, what a big organization is that? Is that hundreds of thousands of people, Trump? What is this? Tan J? The Flint police put down their weapons and marched with protesters? Well, that's a different method. I haven't heard of that. I assume that means a peaceful march, you know. But the vast majority of people are peaceful. They're still marching, even though they're not throwing rocks and all that. Dallas is on lockdown. Pretty bad there last night as well. Trump is shit. Oh, we know that. All news, not real news. Funny how Rona not being mentioned no more. Stay woke, everybody. Boy, if somebody is trying to just cause chaos to force us out of these houses, can you imagine what kind of story that is? I mean, look at what's happening here. I mean, regardless of how it happened or what the spark was, look what's happening. We're all rushing out of these safe houses we're supposed to be in, into the streets, touching, neck and neck. They were worried about a couple of beaches a week ago. There's some people who dream of race wars. They've been dreaming about it since I've been alive. Trump was put in to destroy America. Worst presidency in the history of the United States of America. The worst presidency. It's been shit ever since he started. He has time for people kneeling and shit like that, going to football stadiums. Oh, they're not kneeling. No, they're not kneeling. That's his level of leadership. He still wants to have the Republican rally. Put them all together. I guess it don't make no sense now. But look at these. These are like we're watching 100 rallies right now. No more word of what's going on with those cops, though. I mean, wouldn't it help? At least it would help Minneapolis if these cops were arrested. We all know they're gonna get out. I mean, the main one is not getting out, but if they get arrested, they arrest them, they put up bail, and they come back to court. At least that. They're not budging. They think are you holding the power line here by not arresting those cops? There's been more video released. Some guy from behind, who was it? King Jives had this video today, and they were showing a different angle, and they were showing this guy who was begging this dude to get off that man's neck, right in his face. I didn't see that part before. And he intentionally murdered him. And even after he stopped breathing, I saw them people take his pulse and declare that he was dead. This dude was still on his neck. He would not let it off his neck anyway. What is the point of that? He should be on suicide watch. I would think it'd be something to really consider. If you can avoid going out at all, it's best to go back to where we were a week ago. Stay in. What is this? They're doing a lot of coverage on Washington, D.C. Must be something going on there. I see the skies are lit up with fire. Outside the White House. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Remember, Trump is probably the worst factor in this whole country. The last year, people would have some real pent-up hatred. It's curious that for the last hour, all they're showing is Washington, D.C. Here and on CNN. I don't think it's dark in L.A. yet, so prepare yourself. Yep, CNN. All they're showing is Washington, D.C. So this has been going on for at least 45 minutes. Yeah, it's definitely not racial. I mean, all those white people there. People with their mask off. Look how close they are. Mask off. They got tear gas in their eyes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. Is he really in a bunker? What has happened to this country? Said it was a rambling word. Yeah, it's hard to come on YouTube and talk about anything else. I've seen some people have tried. How can you talk about comedy when the whole damn world is falling apart around you, all around you? I don't know. San Francisco has been mostly downtown, peaceful march. At night, it turns violent. Yep. Oh, they're knocking down. Here come they're marching. This is Washington. I wish they would tell us. They're talking about Washington State or Washington, D.C. I assume it's Washington, D.C. So they're just firing tear gas canisters. I suspect that Washington's going to be one of the worst hit, because that's where that dude lives. White House as far as burned. Yeah, they're heading for the White House. All right, people. I didn't mean to just come on and just ramble tonight, but this is what we have. This is what's going on. You know, we got to acknowledge it's happening. I think this is a horrible way to reopen the economy. Everybody just blast onto the street all at the same time. Not to go to work, but for this. A lot of these young kids, they're frustrated because a lot of them had to stop their schooling. They had to move off campus. There's all kind of frustrations out there. People trying to live off their stimulus check because they ain't had no income in the last 3 months. Businesses that are closed. It's all coming to a head. It all came to a head. White people stick on racism too. What they did, when they showed that, see, this whole world would be still stuck if it weren't for all these damn cameras. When you get to see a person murdered right before your eyes, and even the guy held his knee on him, even after he had killed him, he wouldn't get off his neck. And there's some talk that he knew that man, and there was an interpersonal relationship with him and some woman. We don't know. It hasn't been talked about that much now because we're so focused on these riots. I was in grad school and Corona ruined it all. Yep. People are frustrated. I can understand that. Oh my God, they didn't tear gas these people. See all those masks and things, they come off when they didn't tear gas them. And they're right in their face trying to save them, spitting all in their mouth. Caribbean Queen, your next book? I wouldn't know. I don't have anything to add to the story. I mean, you know, here's what it is. I stopped watching the news. Well, I don't usually watch it like this, but you can go to sleep for 4 or 5 hours, wake up, and it's the same thing. Except when the night comes, they're all waiting for the night for the big show, you know. 40 million people have lost their jobs. You're right, Deborah. 40 million people have lost their jobs. A lot of students are sleeping on top of each other because they've been ran off the campuses. And they are, it looks like to me, a whole lot of these people are college student age. So, I mean, usually colleges are the ones who protest anyway. But these people are I mean, they're suffering. So it's not all about George Floyd, the situation with him, all about police brutality. You know, this whole thing is just blowing up in our faces. Mm-hmm. Some aren't even fighting for George anymore. It's sad. Right. Well, you have a spark, and then you have the fire, honey. When you get the fire going, it's hard to put it out. Raging fire all across this country. How you gonna put it out now, you know? Some of these people, they don't know why they're out there protesting. They're just mad. They're mad as hell. Like that, what was that movie called? Midway. I'm mad. I'm mad as hell. And I'm not gonna take it anymore. Oh my goodness, what she's doing? Showing her, I guess she's showing her bullet wound. They hit her with a plastic bullet, look like. They shoot plastic bullets. If there weren't so many cameras around, them cops would be using a lot more force than even plastic bullets. A 100,000 people died. I wonder what the numbers are going to be in a month from now. These young people, a lot of them live at home. They're going to bring this stuff right back to the house. Usually if somebody in the house, oh my God, girl, what happened? Stop showing that young lady's parts, man. We already seen it. A lot of these young people will take that stuff right back to their parents or their grandparents, which could be deadly for them. I mean, I guess protest is part of being a young person, right? We got to remember that the majority of people, they're not violent protesters. Anybody can be driven to it after you get the first bottle of water hit in your head. They're still showing Washington. All right, you guys, thanks for checking in here. We have to keep our eyes on things. Please try to stay in. Stay in if you can. One more body on the street is not going to help anything. Right? We have all these machines now. We can protest online because that's where we're supposed to be anyway. Don't jeopardize your life. Don't jeopardize your life going trying to get a pair of tennis shoes. Okay, babies. Later.